Hello, everyone, and welcome. Think of this explainer as us just sitting down with a warm cup of coffee to plan out your week. I am so excited to walk you through our roadmap for Round Rock ISD's Kindergarten Science Unit 2, Properties of Objects. If you're getting ready to teach this unit, well, you are in exactly the right place. Okay, let's dive into this. Over the next 10 minutes or so, we're going to cover 1. Mastering the Unitiques. 2. Core science concepts. 3. Clearing up misconceptions. 4. Investigations and modifications. And 5. Vocabulary and the interactive word wall. We're going to get you completely ready to teach. Section 1. Mastering the Unit-Teak, the destination for our students. We always want to start our planning with the end destination in mind, right? Knowing exactly what the standard asks of our students helps us cut out the fluff. Our guiding star for this unit is TEACS K6A, Identify and record observable physical properties of objects, including shape, color, texture, and material, and generate ways to classify objects. Now, I know that sounds like an absolute mouthful of academic jargon for a 5-year-old, but I promise you it's incredibly practical and completely attainable. When we break down what mastery of this standard actually looks like for a kindergartner by the end of the unit, it is delightfully simple. We want them to use their eyes to sort by color and shape. We want them to use their little hands to feel texture and material. And we want them to logically group objects that go together based on those observations. That's really it. They are just sorting the world around them with their eyes and hands. Section 2. Core Science Concepts Explained. Building Teacher Confidence. Please take a deep breath here because you absolutely do not need a physics degree to teach physical properties to kindergartners. The science is wonderfully intuitive. The core concept just relies on teaching students to divide their observations using 2 main scientific tools, their eyes and their hands. In Lesson 1, we focus entirely on visual properties. Students learn that their eyes give them data about shape, color, and size. Then in Lesson 2, we introduce tactile properties. They learn that their hands give them data about texture and material. We're really just giving them the formal vocabulary for things they already experience every single day. Section 3. Clearing up common misconceptions. Troubleshooting classroom hiccups. Now, what's really interesting about this next part is where our young scientists usually stumble. Understanding these common conceptual hurdles ahead of time is your absolute secret weapon for a smooth lesson. So think about this. Can an object only be one thing? That right there is the biggest hurdle you're going to face. When a 5-year-old looks at a red block, they will often categorize it as just red. Getting them to understand that an object isn't just one thing, that it actually has multiple properties simultaneously, is the main cognitive leap of this unit. We have to actively guide them from the myth that objects have only one property to the scientific fact that objects have multiple physical properties. It's not just a red apple. It is a red, hard, smooth plastic apple. Also, keep an ear out for students confusing texture and color. Sometimes they'll literally say an object feels red. When that happens, you'll just gently correct that by redirecting them back to their tactile tools. Section 4. Investigations and Classroom Modifications. Practical Application. Let's shift gears into the really fun part, handing over the practical keys to the classroom investigations. This is where those physical properties come to life. In Lesson 1, you'll run the bits and pieces investigation. Students are going to observe assorted objects and group them by color, drawing their results. But here is the absolutely crucial step. You must have them regroup the exact same objects, this time by shape. Doing this physically breaks that misconception we just talked about. It proves that the exact same object can belong to totally different groups depending on which property we're looking at. Then in Lesson 2, we have the mystery materials investigation. This is essentially just fun detective work. Students reach into a bag without peeking, and they draw what they feel based on texture. Then they pull the object out and draw what they see. Contrasting something like a soft cotton ball with a rough rock inside a blind bag really forces them to rely solely on their hands, which builds up that crucial tactile vocabulary. Throughout these investigations, you'll be using Paige-Keeley science probes, like the ones featuring wooden blocks. These are fantastic tools to assess student reasoning early in the lesson. The key here as a teacher is to hold back. Do not reveal the correct answer right away. Seriously, let them debate, let them reason, and let their own findings from the investigation change their minds. And to make sure these investigations are perfectly accessible for every single learner, the curriculum provides incredibly easy plug-and-play emergent bilingual or EB supports. For beginning EB students, simply pre-sort one group of objects as a visual model. For intermediate learners, you can place sticky notes with sentence frames right at their stations. And for your advanced students, Challenge them to predict properties before they even look at or touch the objects. We also need to get those active kindergarten bodies connected to the vocabulary using total physical response, or TPR. When you say rough, have them actively rub their palms together. When you say smooth, slide your palms flat against each other. For soft, have them squeeze the air like a giant marshmallow. And for hard, literally have them knock on their desks. Connecting that physical motion directly to the word cements the learning. Section 5, Vocabulary and the Interactive Word Wall. The classroom environment. Let's move to how this all builds and how to visually anchor everything your students are discovering. It's really helpful to distinguish between our two tiers of vocabulary. On one side, we have our big academic content words: color, shape, object, physical property, texture, material. These are the broad concepts. On the other side, we have our supporting vocabulary, the everyday descriptive words they'll actually use to answer your questions, like red, circle, rough, smooth, hard, and soft. Both are essential. You'll launch the unit using the McGraw-Hill anchor slide. Using real academic terms from day one sets a tone of high expectations that your little scientists will absolutely rise to meet. Oh, and remember one last time, confidently say TEKS when introducing that standard. When you build your interactive word wall for Lesson 1, you're going to use these exact sentence frames. You will say, there are blank objects shaped like blank, and there are blank objects the color blank. This script is exactly how you will sound when filling in the frames with your students. It gives them a safe, highly structured way to practice their new supporting vocabulary. And as we move into Lesson 2, the word wall evolves. Look at these frames. The texture of blank is blank, and both blank and blank are made of blank. Just look at how brilliantly this elevates a 5-year-old's academic language. They aren't just saying it's bumpy. They are constructing a complex comparative sentence, just like real scientists. Which brings us to the end of our roadmap. I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. How will your students look at the physical world differently after you teach this unit? Thank you so much for your time today. Never forget that through these simple investigations of shape, color, and texture, you are empowering your kids to look closely at the world like scientists for the very first time. Have a fantastic time teaching this unit.